I am going to attack this guy in the top view first. I'm going to draw the construction lines for the hole. I have my grid turned on, and I'm selecting a random spot. There it is. That hole is fairly large. There you go. So there's the hole inside of the cylinder. And now it has a rectangular section coming out. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball the size of this. Just make sure it's the same on both sides. And that looks like about it. Okay, and then this trims to that. Clean this guy off. Delete this piece. All right. And then there is a thickness here. Say something like that. There is a slot. And again, all of this is random. I'm just, the only thing I'm making sure of is that I'm making it symmetrical about this center line. Okay, now I know this has a fillet connecting this edge and that circle, but we are going to deal with that last. So the top view is done. And I'm going to do the bottom view now. Projecting with construction lines. You might want to turn to your object snap to make sure you get these on the money. Put those on my regular construction layer. And one more I'm going to do where this tangent is. I want to mark this endpoint. So definitely using the object snap and clicking on the endpoint of that line. There it is. Okay, I think I've got everything I need to get going here on the front view. Just zoom in a little bit. I like that. Okay. So here goes the cylinder. Trying to decide how tall it is. Kind of like that. And then this footing. Which goes from the tangent, the point of tangency, which is this line here, this one that's further to the left, all the way to the edge. There it is. And there's going to be some trimming here. Okay. That line went away because the connection between these two pieces is a smooth transition. There's no hard edge. That's why I deleted that line. There will be a curve in here, but we'll come back to that later. There will also be a curve in here, a fillet in there, and we'll come back to that later. All right, as far as the object lines, I believe we are done. So we're going to move on to the right side view. Cut the zoom right, there we go. Put those on my whole layer. Okay. And then I'll go for the regular construction layer to finish it off. Turn off the whole construction for now. I guess I need these outer ones. Turn those back on. I'm just trying to reduce the level of confusion. But I guess we'll have to keep those on. All right. How deep this notch goes over here, or slot, I'm not sure. And I don't know that this is the best way to do it anyway. I think I'll just draw the center line for it right now. What am I doing? Accelerator. and then make the hole. And it goes to these edges. There it is. So the way I have it right now is just slightly above this bottom surface. It looks close to how it is in the drawing. You could move it up one, perhaps. There. Okay, and then these lines that are going to go from there to the edge. Tangent. And then trim that out. Okay. So that's pretty much it for the object lines. I want to do the rounds now with you. So looking in the front view, we'll start off with that. There's clearly a round here and a round here. Is it the same size? I'm not sure, but I think we'll just say, honestly, I feel like this one is bigger, so that's what I'm going to go with. The one connecting this side looks like it's very small. Looks like it's one of our little micro edge rounds, our edge rounds as opposed to a true fillet. How do you do the fillets? Let's get to that. You go to the fillet command right there, or type F enter, and then you have to give it a radius, which requires typing an R and then enter. So it's F enter, R enter, and then you type the radius value you want. So I just typed a 2. I'm curious what that'll look like. It's pretty substantial. It's a little bigger than I was hoping for. So I'm going to do that again, F enter, R enter, and type 1.5. And see what that looks like. Okay, so there's a 1.5. While I have that set, yeah, never mind. Let's just finish the other one. I'm going to change the other one. I'm going to F enter, R enter, or hit the enter button again and type R enter, and change this one to just 0.5. So this little tiny little corner one, I'm just going to go with a 0.5. So that looks right, but there is a problem. It wiped out this line here. So I'm going to hit Control Z, and that's typically what it does when you use AutoCAD to create a fillet. Is if it's a line segment, the line segment goes away. So you have to put in a line segment when you don't want that to happen, sort of like a sacrificial line segment. So let me demonstrate that. I'm going to go to my line command, and I'm going to click right on that point, and then just drag out some amount. Doesn't matter, so long as it's bigger than the fillet. And I'll just click there and hit escape. And there's that line segment that I made highlighted for you. And that's the one I'm going to use to do this fillet. So I'm going to click on fillet, I'm going to click that one and the other line, and there you go. So that is, that's what I was after. Except that it's a little too big. F, enter, R, enter, 0.5, enter. There we go. That's a little more like it. Just a little guy. Are there any other places where that is, a little round like that is evident? And I definitely see one on the top here, this top corner. I don't see one on this side or the bottom because I believe those have been machined square, but there's definitely one on this side. So I'm going to do this guy the same way. There he is. And I believe the top of this cylinder was machined flat, so I believe its corners are actually square. So as far as the front view is concerned, I think we have all the rounds and fillets. And I would just call that's a round, and this is a fillet, and that is a fillet. Okay, so let's do the same in the top view. See if there's anything over here that needs rounding or filleting. Definitely connecting this footing with the cylinder itself. That absolutely needs something. So we will go to the fillet command, and I think that's going to be large. So I'm going to type R, enter, and make that a big one like this one over here. Well, let's say 1.5, enter. And we'll see what happens. Click on the line and click on the arc. It's not happy. Not sure why. Try some other fillet. Let's try a bigger radius. See if that had something to do with it. Honestly, I'm not sure what the deal is. I'm going to make a line segment, though, like I was talking about, a sacrificial line segment, and see if I can get that to work. So just clicking on the line segment in the circle itself. And that did work. That one was a little small. So I'm changing the radius to 2. We'll see how that goes. From there to there. It's still a little small. I'm going to do it for 3. F, enter, R, enter, 3, enter. So fillet, enter, R, enter for radius, and now I'm changing the value to 3. So I'm clicking on that little line segment I made and the circle. And there you go. That's probably about right. So let's zoom in on these two and compare them. So you can see the hard connection versus this rounded connection. And what I need to do now is trim out this little piece or grab its end and just drag it out to there. And you can see what it ought to look like with the fillet. So one more time, click on fillet. I don't need to change the radius because it remembers, but if you haven't, you would then type R, enter, 3, enter. And then I would do this to that. It's interesting that it's not willing to do that for us. So you're definitely going to have to click on line and create this little line segment like I was talking about before and fillet that to the circle, which is fine. A little extra trouble, but we're good. Click on that one and then the circle and you got it. And then you just need to trim out this little piece in here. And I'll zoom in on that pretty tight so you can see what I'm talking about. So this little bit, you just trim that off, or you can grab the grip on the end and just drag it out if you really want to but it's probably easier just to trim it off. There you go. These corners are square because that was machined off. And that looks like it for the top view. And in the right side view, see if there's any fillets around here. There's definitely one on this corner of this footing here. That's pretty substantial. Let's see if our 3 radius of 3 works for that. Honestly, that's too much. So I'm going to go F enter R enter and change it to the 1.5. See what that looks like. Yeah, it's close. I bet you 2 is perfect. So that's 2. Nice. Okay. So that looks good. Uh, I think that's it for the object lines. I think we're good for with the fillets and rounds as well. Everything here, this is squared off on top because it's machined, squared off on the bottom because it's machined. So those corners are correct. The inside of this trough is machined. Okay, so I'm going to turn the whole construction lines back on, and or maybe just all of them. Looks like I'm missing a couple construction lines. I'll have to put some back for this hole for sure. Looks like I did grab this one just to make sure I'm going to place it there. Back, there we go. And there should be one here. Mark the center of this guy. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Let's see if we can finish up this drawing with those construction lines. Go to my center line first. This guy I'm going to run through the entire thing as it is entirely symmetrical about this axis. And it is also showing the centers of these 2 circles and of this slot right here. It's showing the center of that. So we got everything covered, a lot of things covered with this one line. Perfect. And then we'll do the center lines in the front view. Okay. And now for the hidden lines. These I'm just going to copy over. CO, enter the center line for this guy and its hidden lines. They're just identical on the front and right side views. That looks the same. Get rid of, I should be able to just get rid of that little one I made there. Yeah. Okay. So those 2 views look good. And there is nothing hidden in the top view. Turn off my construction lines. zoom out a little bit, see how it looks.